Exactly 25 minutes to the top of the hour. You're right in time for our second conversation this Thursday morning, still on matters entertainment. And right about now, we look at the evolution of gospel industry. My guest on set is quite the guest there, with a wealth of experience on matters gospel, 25 years in the industry. So obviously, he'll be talking to us about, this kind of industry, and also just trying to track how the difference is in Kenya and Nigeria, given that he is based in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm talking about Jonathan Koome, who is a gospel minister. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And I'm so sure I got it correctly. Not a gospel artist, but a gospel minister.
God bless you, because we are not artists, we're ministers actually.
What is the difference anyway?
Well, an artist it has a lot to do with showbiz, you understand. A minister is you're giving out what you believe, you understand. I can say I'm of God, but do not live out. I do not have the characteristics of God, the requirement of what God demands from us, you understand. So it's basically living out what you sing, not singing what you want people to believe, basically. So those are the two different. There's a difference between being a gospel minister and being a gospel artist, because the gospel can be anything. What gospel? Except you put truth beside the gospel. So it can be gospel of light, it can be gospel of blue, it can be gospel of brown. So gospel of what exactly? So if I'm a gospel minister, gospel of what? Truth, which it means that if I say, let your light shine in music, it means my light is shining. And I have a testimony of what it is like for your light to shine.
And that's what actually brings the minister part of it.
Yes.
Over time, I've really grown fond of asking this question to those in the gospel space, because I really want to understand the different standing of different individuals when they say I'm a gospel artist as opposed to a gospel minister, or I'm a minister as opposed to a gospel artist, just to get a variety, I
think also
of the feel.
These days have gotten into, because now there is a certain level of acceptance when you use the word minister. So it's like getting into the word.
We take you more seriously.
I would say they're taking it more seriously in terms of tying the name to them, but not also looking at the requirements that is needed to live out that name.
Okay. So then there needs to be a set standard.
Yes.
If you're told you're going to be saying I'm person X and X a gospel minister, which standard is this are we talking about? Because then one would assume, if I'm singing for God, I'm singing for God regardless. Which standard are we talking about? Also just tie this to your wealth of experience in the industry.
The standard is basically not minding what the world wants, not being confined by what you feel is trending. So basically God tells you, the song I'm giving you is blue, and I want blue out, but the world is welcoming yellow. So the question is, what will you yield to? Is it the blue that God has asked you? Or are you yielding to the yellow that the world wants? Because now when you yield to the yellow, it means that you're basically not seeking to do his will. You're basically seeking to do their will, so that you gain fame, you gain wealth. And then when you gain that, it's so painful, it's sad that right now is how it is being run, because now nobody wants to invite you as an artist based on who you are with God, but rather who you are with the people. How popular are you? And then that's why we have a lot of, but you're a Christian, you should not do this. But the reason is, you put him on that pedestal, you did not know, you had no idea of who this person is, but basically because the whole world is giving him likes on social media, giving him follows, you believe, let's bring him in, because even you who's inviting him, you have an ulterior motive, because it's all about crowd. You understand? So that's what is really affecting us, because now it's about numbers. It's no longer about how many people have been impacted, you understand? It's no longer about what have you worked on in yourself. It's now about, okay, I have 50,000 followers. Let's pick him. This one has 2,000 followers. Let's not pick him. Meanwhile, you might be shocked. It's that one who has 2,000 followers that heaven has, you understand?
I hear you.
Has called out for the work.
I hear you. And remember that also, even as we converse around the different conversations of the day, matters of entertainment, of course, taking center stage this Thursday, we are not forgetting that World Cup equal KBC. You've obviously seen that hashtag running. We are going to be airing these matches for the TV. 28 matches is what KBC has the rights on to air this, and this is the beginning of 20th of this month, of course, 20th of November all the way to 18th of December. For our radio stations, we are talking about 64 matches. So this is the place to be, beginning 20th of November all the way to 18th December. Indeed, World Cup equal KBC. Of course, we'll be giving you more details of this particular matches, even as you continue to just keep it KBC Channel 1. Jonathan, you really mentioned quite pertinent issues, even as you talk about ministry and artistry and the difference in their arena and the kind of pedestal that also, that's just us as individuals that we're putting to these people that you're either calling ministers or artists. And look at how the gospel scene has changed. And I'm sure that this is cross-cutting across the globe and also Africa. Oftentimes you keep saying that when you look at how music was done then and now, and I'm glad I'm having you on set because 25 years is no mean feat. I'm literally counting my age here.
By God's mercy.
Yes, this is really entirely by God's grace. So also, is this because of the kind of pressure that we put on gospel ministers or gospel artists, for instance, so that now we are having quite a shift and a difference in terms of how music was done then as opposed to how it's being done now? There's less of the word right now.
Yes. Also, I'll look at, if you look at then and now, things have changed. In terms of...
Is this also the same in Nigeria?
Yes, everywhere, because the softwares used in recording then have been updated. There are new softwares. Music is more expensive. Like what I do live recording. We don't do softwares trying to tweak this or tweak that, tweak this voice. So we do live recording, and it's quite expensive, which is true. So music right now is you need to prepare for it. You understand? And because of that, it has changed and has a good side in terms of coming out sounding better. You understand? But also has a bad side. Bad side is the area where we've focused so much. That's in our own few terms of the gospel. You understand? We need to be more careful in how we create music. You understand? I do not believe we create the music. I think we need to learn to understand that, yes, we're in the studio. Yes, there's room for creativity, but the most important thing is we do not lose touch of the one who is giving us the music. In this day and time, that is being lost. You understand? It's more about, this beat is trending, let's do this.
This beat is booming.
This is booming. John did this in his song, it went viral, let me do it. And the God who you say has put you on the mission is watching you. That's why we have so many songs out there, but yet less lives affected. If you check then, just guitar, drum, keyboard, no softwares, no effect, people are being saved.
And lives were impacted.
Yes, and lives were impacted. So right now, we have a whole lot of people, youths, adults, screaming, oh, amazing, beautiful. But it's not impacting lives. No one is being drawn to the kingdom of light. You understand? I've gone places where we went for a worship program, okay? I don't want to call where it was. And we finished, there was a lot of screaming in the auditorium. And we're leaving out, we see guys who are lighting cigars who are, outside, as in not too far. So I'm not coming to a place where I'm judging. My question is, okay, fine, this person has his work. There's a process in terms of salvation. So my question is, let's take him out of the picture. My question is, as a minister, how have I affected this person? Did I leave God out of the equation? Because the only way to save is not my singing. The only way to save is bringing God into the singing. Is letting God direct the singing. Is letting God direct the production. So right now, I think we've gotten too excited in how we want the world to perceive us, how we want the world to receive us right now, and we've left the God who is the main focus. You understand, of why we do what we do.
I hear you.
And that's the difference. Because if you look at it now, many people will tell you, I'd rather go listen to that song by Mrs. M that took me, because there are songs people listen to and they didn't have to go to church to give their lives to Christ.
Some even get healed.
Yes, get healed even by listening. So the question is that what's happening now? So and I think the reason why that is, I'm not speaking because there's still hope.
Oh, yes.
And all that is required is to go back to the drawing board. Ask yourself the right questions. What have I missed out? And the only thing that you have missed out is the superpower of God. Meaning that you have taken God out of the equation, which you need to bring back, that you have to bring back. And when you bring him back, be opened to the ideas he brings, because sometimes his wisdom, it's said in the Bible, is foolishness to the world. So it might not always align with what you want or how you want the song. Because at the end of the day, if you say I'm a gospel minister of truth, then it means that the first producer of the song is God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then has that really become our biggest undoing? And just borrowing from what you're saying, this is not just a Kenyan kind of situation. It's cross-cutting, as you've well rightly put it. So then has this really become our biggest undoing, such that now you really can't demarcate and understand that this is now gospel and this is secular? There's no clear demarcation. You really can't quite tell these days.
Well, that's why both for the one who is writing and the one who is listening, one thing is key: be led by the Spirit.
So this actually, now this is for both, eh?
For both sides. For me, who is writing, who is singing, and for you, who is listening. Because at the end of the day, you should be listening to what feeds you, what draws you closer to God.
What uplifts your spirit.
Yes, your spirit.
All right.
So if I don't understand how you listen to a song you call gospel, and yet darkness is still sitting beside you drinking tea. You understand? Yeah. So basically it takes us back to the Bible that says, seek me in all you do. You understand? So basically, for me, what I do is, I don't listen to any song the Holy Spirit hasn't prompted me to listen to. Even if the whole world is listening to that particular artist, all well and good, I don't jump on board. I don't follow the crowd. Because at the end of the day, why am I listening to it? Am I really listening to it to feed my spirit? Or I'm listening to it to just join the numbers and add the numbers? You understand? So if the listeners also are led by that, it also gets the so-called artist to see that, oh wow, people are drifting away from me. Why? Because they're not being fed. And
I really like what you're saying, that this is not just a burden on the composer or the songwriter, but also the listener, which is not one of those things that I've really had oftentimes. We keep saying that those writing music, then ensure that you do music that we can well listen to, and particularly when it comes to gospel. But I've not really quite heard that also the burden is on the listener. What are you also listening to?
Because the truth is, for example, if I bring out crap music, you understand? And you listen to it, you begin to share it. Meanwhile, it's doing nothing to you. You understand? So the question is, you take it out. Now, when you share, somebody else says, everybody is sharing this, because now it's about what people are doing. Now you share, this person shares, that person shares. Then what happens? The upcoming gospel artists begin to see, this is what is trending. Then now, because you're sharing, you're influencing someone who is growing.
All right.
So the question is, what are you sharing? Why are you sharing it? Are you thinking of the next generation? Because as little as you think you are, you're very powerful. What you press in terms of is an approval to what the next generation will jump on board. So be careful what you share. So if the song has taken you to God, share it. Whether the person has 1 follower, whether the person has 2 followers. But the reason why you're sharing it is not because you want to join the train of people talking about it, but because there's a way you can also preach to people without even speaking to them.
Exactly.
By the contents you share. Because I've listened to so many gospel songs, and there's no difference between listening to that of the secular world and gospel. And that's why you find them saying, I want to shift from secular to gospel. And then they do that, and then the elements you saw when they were in that camp is the same elements you're seeing in this camp. So there's no difference in the two sides.
And some have even gone a step further to say that, much as I'm a gospel artist, or even some as they would call themselves gospel minister, based on how you explained it earlier, they will say that talent is talent. It's the same God who gave me this talent. So what is the difference if I'm singing this and I'm singing this? I'm just using the talent.
Yeah, because I was in a meeting yesterday and someone was telling me, saying that there's this artist, he releases songs every 2 weeks. I'm like, how? Because even if I go to church and listen to a sermon from you, every day there's a new sermon, every day there's a new sermon, which one gets to digest? For example, if you sit down here, you're eating chapo, you're eating mandazi, you're eating kideri, at once you're eating, you kill yourself. Despite the fact the body needs food, you kill yourself because you're not giving room for the body to break things down, take what it needs and take out what it needs. So if the question is, why are you doing that? Are you producing songs because you're contesting with Hollywood? You understand? Why are you doing that? Because at the end of the day, our God is patient and he doesn't put burdens on people.
Exactly.
So the question is, so I told the person yesterday, I said, what's the goal? That's the key thing. What's the goal? Are you doing it because you want to make money? Because if it's about money, I leave you. But if it's about God, then you need to also know that if you're doing that, there's a point where you will miss it.
Exactly.
There's a point where you miss it because you will now be, because even David, who was working with God, always acquired. No one who was given the mandate to bring in the ark, to build the ark, followed instructions from A to B to C There's always a process. Childbirth is a process. Everything is a process. Music with God is a process, because there are times you finish recording the songs and God tells you, I don't want this.
Oh God.
Go back and redo it again.
Let me tell you, I would have loved for us to really have this conversation even just for an hour, because it's not just about music, but it's actually deep stuff. But my director is already saying that we're getting pinched for time. And I really wouldn't want us to exit without talking about your latest song, Ekele. Because this is also the song that he'll be playing. So just tell us a bit about it as he
Ekele just simply means praise. So it's a declaration of victory for those who, for battles conquered, battles being conquered, and battles yet to be conquered. Because you see, people do not understand. They think praise is only when things have happened. You need to understand that you can praise your way into victory. So Ekele means praise. Thank you. It's thanksgiving. So basically, when you see me dance, I'm not dancing because I now have a Range Rover. No, I'm also dancing because there's no food on my table. But why are you dancing? There's no food. Because I know the God I serve. That's what happened with Job. I know he's a God who... So sometimes when you can't pray, just praise.
This is too deep. I hope they're getting the way I am. I wish we had more time, because this is really quite deep. You know, you can praise your way into victory.
Yes.
You don't really have to be there to start praising God. No. And I like the way you're saying, you know, sometimes you keep thinking that when we are happy and we are really thanking God is because you already have it. It's not really quite it.
No.
It's because, let me tell you.
I do that a lot. I dance my way. Sometimes at night when I'm praying, there are times you don't have the words to pray, dance. While you dance, the Bible says we're co-creators. Begin to see those things you're expecting and dance your way into it.
Praise.
Exactly.
The power of praise.
Exactly.
Director, I wish you could do this next week. What is your last word, especially to this upcoming gospel artist?
My last word is blind your eyes from the world. The world has lost itself. The world does not know where it's going to. Keep your eyes on the God who has put you on the spot. Be led by the Spirit alone. And then honor the leaders who are there. And yes, they give you instructions. Take it back to God. Let God have the final say in what you do, in what you sing, in what you write, what you eat, what you think. Let God direct your path, basically. Because at the end of the day, He is the one who will get back to give reports on how we've lived our lives here on earth.
It's true.
Not to man.
You have no account on man. Not any man.
It's to God.
They say even whatever you do, it doesn't matter who has given you that position. Do it as unto God.
Exactly.
Good place to end it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me on the show.
Short and sweet, but we can do this at some other time.
Whenever we're available for the kingdom. Thank you very much.
I have been speaking to Jonathan Koome, of course, talking to us about evolution of the gospel industry, since this is because he has actually 25 years of experience in this industry. But a good place to end this conversation. Plenty more is coming up after this break, and also a good place for me to remind you that World Cup Eco KBC. KBC has rights to air 28 matches on TV and 64 on radio beginning 20th of November all the way to 18th of December. So good place to be keeping your eyes on this season.